Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to talk about storytelling aspect. Right, that's one of the module which is important, and you might get a few questions around storytelling, um, especially for this certification. Now, the storytelling, if you take a moment, right, if you forget about the certification aspect, I believe that storytelling plays a very important role as a consultant. The reason why, because people often relate more to a story rather than you just going, and selling the product. And this is an ancient wisdom, right? It's like people can relate to even in the ancient history. If you're a fan of history, you would see that people often get bought into using stories rather than uh, other aspects. Even though if you wanted to sell, say, a plant or a herb or a machine, you know, the kind of story you tell to back that up, right? That's what makes a great sale at the end of the day. So, I mean, I'm more into ancient wisdom and ancient mysteries, and I read a lot of stuff. So, my apologies if I, at times, I might try to sneak in here and there the ideas from there. But the reality is, in 2023, if you wanted to sell a product, if you wanted to market a product, you need to back that up with a story. Because if someone comes to me and try to sell a product, I need to know why I should be using it. You need to talk about things which actually reflects my perspective, right? And though it's very hard to do, but because you can't read people, customers' mind, but having a good story really plays that, really puts you in a better sport. So let's start it, right? Now, if you're a consultant, right, you go to a customer place, right, you wanted to sell, say, for instance, Marketing Cloud or Sales Cloud, or for that matter, you wanted to sell Salesforce to a customer, right? How do you do that? The first thing to do, you need to have a better story why Salesforce is important at first place. Okay, so let me give you a simple example. You go to a customer who brews beer, right? Pretty fantastic, right? Brewery, and brewery is looking to expand their customer base, but they're looking for a software where they can keep track about where they can track of the customer buying options, sorry, the buying patterns, and also provide recommendations. And also, they're after a process where they can create an opportunity and they can generate invoice, a lot of things, right? Right now, they're doing everything using Excel, right? And excuse me, and it's consuming them a lot of time, right? They wanted to focus on brewing stuff rather than worrying about the software aspect. So you as a consultant, right, it's your responsibility to go and tell them the story. Now the story goes this way, right? The story should involve that why Salesforce is better option for them, because tell them, right, hey, we understand that you make the best beers in the town, right? People love to drink your beer, so we don't really want you to, wasting your time worrying about the software aspect, right? About the data stuff, about the customer stuff. Let us handle that problem for you, right? Let us introduce to a world of a software which will simplify your software aspect, simplify your customer relationship management aspect, so that you can invest your time worrying about brewing the best quality beer. You can invest your time, worrying about the kind of hops you wanted to use, or kind of malts you wanted to use, or kind of people you wanted to hire, right? So that, or whether you wanted to brew a stout, or whether you wanted to add some kind of craftiness, or some kind of, um, or you wanted to brew a porter, right? Or you wanted to add certain flavors like vanilla essence to the porter, different kind of stuff, right? If you start telling a brewery in the language of a brewery, in the language of a beer, the person will understand, right? And tell them, hey, it's not really a great option to put everything in Excel because you won't have updated information. If you're maintaining price using Excel, what if the customer gets an outdated price, right? What if the finance person gets hold of an Excel which is not up to date, which is not really great, right? You might end up losing your money, right? And the key thing is that try to put your user as the heroes of the story, right? Don't put your product as the hero, because tell a customer that you are the hero, you will use the software to improve your business, right? Put them as a sport, put them on the spot, right? tell them that they are the heroes, not your software. You're there to help them achieve their journey, right? And they are the heroes, and you are the one who going to assist the hero. So the story has to be, you need to tell a story in such a way that it makes sense for the customer. At the end of the day, that's exactly what you're trying to do, right? Okay. So when the customer might ask you a lot of questions, hey, what's the price margin? What is it gonna be for us? You need to talk about the return of investment, which is very important, right? In a line of business, ROI matters a lot. This is the language most of the stakeholders understand, most of the customers understand. Right? If you don't use it, then they won't be buying into this, no matter how good you try to tell the story. It has to be backed up by a better ROI conversation. Okay, and your story should involve some kind of slides, some maybe PowerPoint will do the job, right? And also you need to talk about the functionality aspect, right? And the ease of functionality, right? Don't talk about too complicated stuff, right? Because like for instance in a brewery, not everyone will be tech savvy. You might get one or two guys who are interested in technology, but it's not always the case, right? You need to pay attention to that. So, try to sell your product in such a way, convince them that it's easy to be used by everyone. Simple point and click. Don't have to worry about the code, because some people freak out if you say, hey, I need to configure it. I need to customize. Oh, customize, that's going to be a nightmare, because I'm a brewer, for instance, right? Should I be worrying about customizing the software, or should I be worrying about brewing the best quality beer, right? So you need to factor those kind of things, right? I mean, I gave an example of the brewing. You can relate this to finance industry. You can relate to medical industry. You can relate to any industry you're working on. But the breweries I mentioned because I brew beer. I'm a passionate brewer. Like I've been brewing since 2013. I brew my own beers. I brew stout. I brew porter. I brew pilsners. I brew lager. Right. I have a brewing kit at home. I brew it for myself. I brew it for my friends. Yeah, something I'm really passionate about, right? Because and so I can. That's one of the reasons why you might see my previous videos often talk about brewery, because that's something I always love to do, right? And I love to create a better quality beer so that people enjoy drinking it. And so that's one of the reasons why I can tell a story better from a brewing perspective, right? And people don't like every style of beer, which is great. Like some people don't like stout, right? If you go to Eastern Europe, for instance, which I'll be traveling hopefully in a month's time, visiting family, people do not like stouts there very much. They're probably after Pilsner. Same is in the Czech Republic, but the craft scenes are changing the stuff. But if you go to England, people more like stout, they like ale, they like porter. You can talk that language. And if you go to countries like India, right, for instance, um, the stout scene is not very big there, though it's changing slowly, right? People are still into, the lager, they have a brand called Kingfisher there, which is pretty popular there. In New Zealand, for instance, right where I live, we get all kind of beers, right? We get porter, we get stout, we get ale, we get velvety stout, we get Pacifica ale, we get pilsners, um, right? And we get crafty scene like cherry beer, right? That's mostly import from Belgium. Belgian beer is pretty interesting, right? They make cherry with chocolate. They're kind of interesting because there's one Belgian beer sitting right in my fridge. That's from Belgium. It's cherry and chocolatey one. It's 8.5%. It's interesting beer though, right? Sorry, I digress, right? I get super passionate about three things in life: brewing beer, climate change, technology, right? All right. So I hope this is clear why the storytelling is important, right? And also, tell customer that, it's easy to configure things, right? It's easy for anyone to, um, uh, do things, or you are there to help them out, right? So that they can focus on things and give them a demo, right? Demo is very important. So because your story should follow, so your demo should follow after your story. So once you do that, most likely customer will be impressed. So then yeah, the cost and other factors comes in the picture. But I personally believe any demo should start with a great story. If you have a great story, you will gonna get a lot of customers who are passionate about your product, and that's the key, right? So that being said, that's all I wanted to cover in today's episode. Hope you guys have an amazing Saturday. Adios.